Welcome back to Kdramas Decoded, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of your favorite K-drama. Episode 7 of A Shop for Killers Season 2 picks up right in the middle of the chaos, as Jinwoo wakes up to discover that Q and her men have completely surrounded the area. Realizing there's no easy way out, Jinwoo prepares to detonate the explosives he has planted. But before he can do anything, one of Q's men sneaks up behind him and stabs him. Jinwoo is killed before he can trigger the explosives, giving Q's forces even more control over the situation. Meanwhile, inside the mall, Passin receives a call from Jin Man. Jin Man reveals that he has managed to save Eddie. However, he deliberately makes it sound as though he has kidnapped Eddie himself. He then gives Passin an order: save Gianne. Passin immediately understands what Jin Man is trying to do. She cuts Gianne and brother free, apologizes to them, and tells them to run. Unfortunately, they barely get moving before Q and her men arrive. A huge gunfight breaks out. Passin, Gianne, and brother fight their way through the mall, trying to reach one of Jin Man's secret emergency exits. Eventually, they make it to the passageway. But Passin knows that if all three of them continue together, Q's men will catch them. So she makes a sacrifice. Passin stays behind and closes the door after Gianne and brother get through. Jai and desperately tries to open it again, but the door can only be opened from the other side. Passin is now completely on her own. She faces Q and L and manages to fight them off. Passin eventually kills L, but she is badly wounded after being shot several times. Even with all those injuries, she refuses to give up. When Q's forces close in, Passin pulls out a grenade. She allows herself to fall, but before she does, she loosens the grenade and takes several of Q's men down with her. At the same time, Gianne and brother continue through the underground passage. But Q catches up with them. She shoots brother, causing him to collapse. With no time to think, brother pushes Gianne into the next section of the passage and presses a button. A heavy door suddenly drops between them. Gianne is trapped on one side. Brother and Q are left on the other. When Q reaches brother, he is already dead. But instead of simply finishing the situation, Q deliberately fires several bullets into the wall beside him. She wants Gianne to believe that she is killing brother right in front of her. But there is one problem. The door is bulletproof. Q can't get through it. As Q turns around to find another way forward, Gianne discovers something that could change everything. She enters another room and notices a series of buttons connected to the building's emergency systems. Gianne realizes exactly what they are for. She presses them. Suddenly, the entire area begins to burn. Q's men are caught in the flames, and Gianne watches as the people who were hunting her are engulfed in fire. With the route behind her destroyed, Gianne follows a passage that eventually leads outside into a forest. There are markers on the trees, guiding her through the woods. Eventually, she reaches a parking area. Gianne finds an unlocked car and gets inside. But she isn't alone for long. Seongbaem suddenly appears in front of the vehicle. At first, Gianne doesn't know whether she can trust him. The episode then takes us back to a flashback involving Kusanagi. Kusanagi had previously approached Seongbaem with an offer. She promised to provide free weapons to all of the Code Reds if they agreed to cooperate with Babylon. She even offered Seongbaem a suitcase filled with cash if he could capture either Jin Man or Gianne. But Seongbaem refused. He makes it clear that he despises Kusanaga's obsession with the Japanese and calls her disgusting. He has absolutely no intention of working for her. And this flashback finally explains what is really happening in the present. Seongbaem hasn't betrayed the Code Greens. He is still on their side. A line of vehicles soon arrives, and Yiwon and Cheolseung step out. The moment Gianne sees Cheolseung, she breaks down and hugs him. For the first time in a long time, she knows she isn't completely alone. Seongbaem then makes his position clear. He and the Code Reds are going to protect the Code Greens. But while Gianne has found temporary safety, Babylon is still hunting for her. Marco and the others eventually discover Q alive in the underground passage. She survived the explosion. Q takes one of their grenades and uses it to destroy the door leading toward the parking area. She then searches the vehicles and finds a dashcam. The footage shows Yiwon's vans arriving and taking Jai and away. Q immediately sends the information to K. Later, K and Kusanagi inspect the destroyed remains of Help. Back at the hideout, Gianne falls asleep in Yiwon's car. When she wakes up, she discovers that she is now underground, near an abandoned railway track. Seongbaem's son is there as well. Then Jai and receives a call from Jin Man. The conversation gives her another reminder that Jin Man is still fighting to protect her, even while everything around them is collapsing. Seongbaem then takes Jai and deeper into the hideout. And this is where she gets an enormous surprise. Minhye is alive. Seongbaem explains that Minhye managed to crawl out of the water by herself. Passan's bullet didn't hit any vital organs, so although she is unconscious, she is expected to survive. For Gianne, seeing Minhye alive is another huge relief. Seongbaem then explains exactly what the underground facility is. It is essentially a headquarters for the Code Reds. He shows Gianne a room packed with weapons and ammunition. This used to be a shared supply room where Code Reds could come whenever they needed equipment. Seongbaem explains that he once managed this room himself. More importantly, the room is heavily protected by an incredibly strong door made from a special alloy. But while the Code Greens and Code Reds are regrouping, Babylon is still attacking Help systems. The hackers continue trying to extract information from the servers. Cheol-seung reveals that Help's server has another hidden function. It can actually act as an electronic bomb. If an unauthorized person tries to access it, the system can shut down the electricity throughout the entire building. And Cheol-seung has been waiting for exactly this opportunity. Their mole inside Babylon has already established a satellite connection. So when the building's power goes down, Cheol-seung can use that window to access Babylon systems and steal their data. Kusanagi contacts Chen and gives him an update. Chen responds by giving her managerial control over Help. But just as Kusanagi asks about Jin Man, the power suddenly cuts out. This is the moment Cheol-seung has been waiting for. The mole switches the connections on Babylon's supercomputer, allowing Cheol-seung to transfer Babylon's information directly onto his own server. Then the electricity comes back. Kusanaga's people immediately check Help's server. But there is nothing there. The data has vanished. Someone has successfully stolen it. At Babylon, attorney Jang warns Kusanagi that the situation is getting too serious to hide. He tells her they need to be more transparent with Babylon's headquarters about both the server incident and the bus bombing. But later that evening, attorney Jang discovers that K has secretly entered the back of his car. K makes his position very clear. He threatens Jang and warns him not to interfere in matters that don't concern him. After K leaves, Jang discovers something inside his vehicle. A flash drive. And on it is the symbol belonging to Babylon's mole. This suggests that someone inside Babylon is actively working against the organization and may finally be ready to expose what is happening from within. Meanwhile, Q has not stopped hunting Gianne. She and her colleagues stake out a shopping mall, waiting for Yiwon's van to appear. Eventually, the van arrives. Q follows Yiwon inside. And when she finds him talking to Jin Man, everything erupts into another fight. 2 hours later, K informs Kusanagi about what Q has done. Kusanagi immediately prepares to leave with him. But before they can get very far, Q's vehicle suddenly blocks their path. The door is open. M steps out. And then they reveal exactly what they've been hiding. Jin Man is tied up in the trunk. M drags him out and throws him onto the ground in front of Kusanagi and K. For the first time in the episode, Jin Man is no longer the person controlling the game from the shadows. He has been captured. And with Q standing on one side and Kusanagi and K on the other, the balance of power has completely shifted once again. Episode 7 therefore ends on a major cliffhanger. Gianne has finally found protection among the Code Reds, Minhye is alive, and Seung has managed to steal Babylon's data. There is even evidence that Babylon has a mole working against them. But the biggest development is Jin Man's capture. After spending the entire episode fighting to keep Gianne safe, Jin Man has now fallen directly into Q's hands. And with Babylon closing in on the Code Greens and the Code Reds, the final confrontation is clearly getting closer.